When you are first starting to read, you learn how to sound out long words by breaking it into parts and sounding out each part separately. But eventually, your brain learns how to process longer words faster and faster. This comes through practice and exposure. In this section, we're going to practice performing calculations mentally. It will be extremely helpful if you can fluidly add two-digit numbers together. This will take some time and practice, but there are very large benefits in the end. If you did the work in section 1.3, you might notice that you are already getting faster at your calculations. In this section, we're going to push it a little bit further and also explain why thinking about additions in columns actually makes it more difficult than the two-step method. Example, compute 23 plus 83. At this point, your mind should be trained to see this as 23 plus 80 plus 3. And you should be able to do each step mentally. 23 plus 80 is 103. 103 plus 3 is 106. 23 plus 83 is 106. Example, compute 45 plus 78. Once again, think of it as a two-step calculation. 45 plus 70 plus 8. 45 plus 70 is 115. 115 plus 8 is 123. 45 plus 78 is 123. One of the benefits to thinking this way about addition is that it allows you to perform a string of addition calculations with very little extra effort. Example, compute 42 plus 28 plus 54. 42 plus 28 plus 54. We're going to work from left to right. 42 plus 20 is 62, plus 8 more is 70. 70 plus 50 is 120. 120 plus 4 is 124. 42 plus 28 plus 54 is 124. This calculation serves as a good demonstration about the differences between adding in columns and adding the way we've been doing it. Let's go back to adding in columns for just a moment. We're going to write out the individual calculations that we need to perform in order to get the answer. Starting on the right, 2 plus 8 is 10, and 10 plus 4 is 14. We write the 4 and carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7, and 7 plus 5 is 12, and then we write down the number 12. This calculation required us to do 5 different computations, plus some bookkeeping steps like carrying the 1. Also notice that we created the answer backwards in the sense that we read left to right, but the number was constructed right to left. Now let's compare the amount of effort it takes to add the numbers left to right. 42 plus 20 is 62. 62 plus 8 is 70. 70 plus 50 is 120. 120 plus 4 is 124. Notice that this only required 4 computations and we didn't have any extra bookkeeping steps. Furthermore, we didn't have to reconstruct the final answer at the end of the calculation. Our final computation resulted in the number 124, and 124 is the final answer. With a little bit of practice, you can become very proficient at mental calculations by retraining your brain to think differently about numbers. If you do this, you will open yourself up to new mathematical possibilities. We will end on one more example. Example, compute 87 plus 55 plus 42. I'll give you a moment to think it through on your own. The final answer is 184. 87 plus 50 is 137, plus 5 more is 142, plus 40 more is 182, plus 2 more is 184. With practice and experience, a calculation like this will take only a few seconds to compute.